Back with our all-star NHL panel, DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich and Rotowire's AJ Scholz and Paul Bruno. Guys, 3 playoff games on the schedule tonight. Let's start in New York, where the Islanders look to close out the Penguins in Game 6. A huge blunder, hard to watch, honestly, by goaltender Tristan Jarry cost Pittsburgh Game 5 in double OT. The Isles are very slight favorites at -110 right now. AJ, we're going to start with you. Can Pitt recover from that crushing loss, and why is the answer no?
Absolutely, they cannot. I tweeted that out immediately after Game 5, and it's not just sour grapes after watching my team lose in what you described. Absolutely, like terrible fashion. I couldn't believe what had just happened. The Penguins historically it's a house of horrors within Nassau Coliseum. 51, 58, and 12 there. They also went just 15, 12, and 1 during the regular season this year on the road. For his part, Jarry sporting a disappointing .885 save percentage as a visiting netminder. Sidney Crosby, Brian Russ, and Jake Gensel has been completely neutralized in this series. That line has been basically a non-factor. At this point, I'd rather have the fourth line out there of Aston Reese, Tanev, and I forget. I don't even remember. The fourth line is much better. Teddy Bluger, as it comes to mind. I just don't see the Penguins getting past the Isles here. I wouldn't go so far as to take New York on the puck line here, but at -110, I think you're getting pretty decent value for the money line.
Paul, what do you think?
You know what? If you believe in the star power of the Pens, it's awfully hard to write them off in this one. Malkin and Crosby are big game players. They'll show up for AJ's club, I think. But on the other hand, he's right. You have an Islander team that's very good at limiting chances most nights, and they play from a defense-first posture bent on wearing down opponents, hoping to capitalize on their mistakes. And to me, the difference in this set is the Penguins haven't solved goalie Ilya Sorokin. He's 3-0 after stopping 116 of 122 shots on goal for a lofty 95.1 save percentage. That's otherworldly, folks, in his 3 starts. They're all wins in this series. I think his mastery will likely continue tonight, and the New York club could really have a really good shot at closing out this series at 4-2.
Geoff, what's your take here?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about making an argument for the Penguins here, and I think there's still like the side to be on. I think if you are going to bet the Penguins, I would rather go into the series line and take them around +210. Again, you're investing less, and quite frankly, if they do win tonight, they're going to be pretty solid favorites for Game 7. So something to think about there. I think if you're interested in the Penguin side, I would probably rather go to the series line. I think the bet here is actually the under, and Paul and kind of AJ both laid it out. We've got 2 goalies who are playing pretty good. And I know Jarry hasn't been good on the road. I do expect Jarry to play good tonight after what happened, though. And Sorokin has just been unbelievable. So I like the under here if I'm taking a side tonight. I'm not really that interested in the money line. This series has just been so close that it's really hard to pick, and we basically got to pick them. So why put yourself to that test and just go on the under with two pretty quality goalies and a really good defensive team with the Islanders.
All right, guys, rookie goalie Spencer Knight gave the Panthers some life with a great performance in Game 5. Now he looks to even the series in Game 6 against the Lightning. The DK Sportsbook, not so confident he can do it, however, with the Lightning sitting at -148 favorites on the money line. Who you got in this one, Paul?
I think the sportsbook lines reveal the truth in favoring the Bolts at home. Sure, Spencer Knight was lights out. Oh, pretty good play on words there, I think, don't you know, in Game 5. But to ask him to repeat against such a potent offense tonight is too much, in my opinion. And I think Tampa's playoff pedigree as defending champs will cause them to throw everything but the kitchen sink at the young goalie this evening, realize that they have to close it out at home, because I would like their chances a lot less if they have to travel to that South Florida for that dreaded Game 7 scenario.
Geoff, who you got?
I was on the Panthers for Game 5, and I'm not jumping off the bandwagon just yet. I mean, I think this series, if you looked at it before, these two teams rate out really equally. The Panthers are a very underrated team, 5-on-5. They've got decent special teams as well. They have fired about 40 shots on net over the last 3 games, and they kind of solved Vasilevsky the last game. I think the Panthers are coming in here with a lot of momentum. They made a really savvy acquisition with Sam Bennett at the deadline. I've liked this team. All I've said is they get some goaltending in this series. They can do it, and they've got goaltending now. I think this one goes 7. Really like the value you're getting with the Panthers tonight on the money line.
All right, AJ, what do you think?
I also like the value here at plus 125, but I just don't see the Panthers pulling this one off tonight. You on the year, Andre Vasilevsky has lost 2 games in a row, only twice this season. Though I will say one of those times was to close out the regular season versus the Panthers. So they are one of the clubs to pull off that double loss against Vasilevsky this season. The goals weren't there for the Lightning last game, as Jeff kind of alluded to, but Victor Hedman, Alex Killorn, Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov, and even Ross Colton all had 4 or more shots on net. I think once the dam breaks for Spencer Knight in this one, it's going to be all over but the crying.
All over but the crying. All right, guys, the Minnesota Wild were another team that managed to avoid elimination in their last game. They're home in game 6 against the Golden Knights, but they're still underdogs at plus 118 on the money line. Now, it took a 3-goal first period and 38 saves from Cam Talbot to force game 6. Jeff, can the Wild do it again and force game 7?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before we came on, but this series has been really weird. Like, you get teams launching 40 shots on net, losing, and then it happens like the direct opposite happens in the next game. Look, the Golden Knights have been extremely dominant over the last 2 games, and they've quite frankly been the dominant team for most of the series. They've controlled the play. Cam Talbot bailed out the Minnesota Wild in the last game. I just don't know if he's up to the task again. I mean, I think that, you look at the line here, Vegas, they're small favorites, but they're not huge favorites. And I think all things considered here, they were the quality team. They were the better team during the regular season. I'll side with them. I mean, Minnesota is just such a Jekyll and Hyde that, they could show up at any point, but I think you just go with what we've seen so far. And that's Vegas been the better team in this series. Quite frankly, if they don't close out this series, it'll be a pretty big shock. So I think you're getting a pretty good line here at around minus 130, minus 140 to take the Golden Knights on the money line.
AJ, you rolling with the Golden Knights or think the Wild can pull another upset?
Absolutely rolling with the Golden Knights here. Look, Fleury only faced 13 shots, gave up 3 goals. This is a guy that excels when he's busy. I mean, he just gets bored back there, it seems. So I think if he faces a little bit more rubber in this game, he'll be more engaged in it. I don't think we're going to see Robin Leonard despite the loss. I just don't think – I think Fleury's earned himself the right to play this game. I agree with Jeff. I don't hate paying up on the money line on this one at minus 136, but I do think I'd still rather go puck line to get a little bit of value at plus 188.
Paul, 3 for 3 rolling with the Knights.
No, I was a contrarian last night with the Leafs and their goalie, and I came out looking good there. I'm going to look good here again, too. I'm picking the Wild. They have to be so thankful for Cam Talbot stealing games 1 and 5, lopsided shots on goal, as Jeff implied. Their improved depth on offense, though, has actually seen them dominate a couple of the other games in the series, and you can make the case that they could really be ahead at this stage in the set, too. And in front of their rabid fans at home tonight, I think they're going to make this a Game 7 scenario. So I'm on Minnesota in a big way this evening.
All right, fighting words from Paul, AJ, and Jeff. You guys are on watch now. All right, turning our attention to DFS. Finally, all these games can be found in showdown format in the DK lobby, or you can play a classic contest with all 3 games. So, AJ, what's your favorite DFS play for tonight's 3-game NHL playoff slate?
I think the fact that Huberdeau, the leading point producer in the postseason, is coming in at just 6,600 compared to Kucherov at 82. Gensel, who's done nothing at 68. I don't know why his price tag's anywhere near that. Or even Mark Stone at 67 makes Huberdeau pretty much a must play in my mind in tonight's 3-game slate. If you don't want to spend up for that, though, similarly, you have to look at Josh Bailey coming in at a paltry 3,300 tonight. He's got 3 goals in 5 games. That's right up there with the rest of the top goal scorers in the league. So I know you asked for one, but those are my 2 guys, a high-low on the wing in Huberdeau and Bailey tonight.
We'll take it. We'll take a bonus play. All right, Paul, what is your favorite DFS play?
I don't see value in a tournament DFS play in the first 2 games that we previewed, but I think the Knights are favored on the basis of their regular season excellence in the late game. As I implied, I'm on Mini tonight, and I look deeper into this game as an opportunity to stack the Wild with some combination of their goalie Cam Talbot as your cornerstone, plus one of Kaprizov or Fiala up front, and then one of the 4-pack on defense, Spurgeon, Sutter, Rodina, or Dumba, forming at least half of your showdown lineup in a contrarian play. It could pay off handsomely if you believe, as I do, that the home dogs win in Mini tonight.
Jeff, your favorite play?
AJ stealing my Huberdeau pick. You're on Tampa. You can't go to Florida. Anyways, I do like Huberdeau, but another winger and another cheap combo too. Alex Tuch at 5,000. This guy averages like well over 3 shots on goal per game. He's extremely cheap. You can pair him with Mark Stone for really cheap. I really like that combo. You just keep riding it. First line minutes, first line power play minutes. Really, really good price.